Hello friends, it's Jayma Malmy. Welcome to a December daily process video. This is actually my first process video. Yesterday I shared my organization, how I'm organizing my supplies and stamps, and my thought process for moving forward with my album after a whole lot of overthinking. And this is a collaboration with the creative design team. So a bunch of the girls have already posted their videos this week, and there's a couple more coming from Katie and Andrea this weekend. And I'm going to be sharing my process for days 1 and 2. I will have a playlist of all of our days of December videos listed down in the description below, as well as at the end of this video on the screen. So I am going to be documenting our elf, Mr. Scrooge, making his debut on December 1st. He left a cute little note for the kids, which then prompted them to write a whole bunch of questions back and forth to him for several days. And some of them got a little bit tough. So my daughter's 9, she's asking some harder questions, and some of them are a little bit harder for Mr. Scrooge to start answering, but it's been really fun. And then day 2 was a Christmas parade. I actually had to miss this because I had a migraine, which really stunk. They had a lot of fun, but my husband took my 2 kids, and then this is our friend's daughter who absolutely loves and adores both of my kids. They just think that that she is the greatest, being so little, and she thinks that they're the greatest. So they had a lot of fun, and that will still be a fun story to document even though I was not there. And then I pulled out a bunch of the products that I think I'm going to use. So I showed you in my video yesterday how I'm storing my scraps. Because this is a smaller size album, I want to reach for scraps before I reach for full 12 by 12 sheets of paper, because I'm using mostly my 12 by 12 scrapbooking supplies for this because I have so many. So I've got a couple sheets of glitter paper. Let's focus on day 1. I think I'm going to use mostly black, white, red, maybe bring in some gold. Maybe a little bit of green. We've got some green here. I might just bring in a little tiny bit of green and some embellishments, but I really love this pine glitter paper, so I pulled that out as well. And then I have my little envelope of scraps because I do want to reach for these first. And then first off, I'm seeing this is one of the zip strips, the manufacturing info strips from one of the patterns. And that will look great with that black and white wallpaper on my little wall there. So let me actually bring in the sketch that I'm going to be using. This is the sketchbook that the creative design team has produced, and this is proving to be invaluable as I start planning my pages because it's got sketches for all 6 by 8 pages. And so I was looking through trying to find one for 4 by 6 portrait orientation, but you can always adjust the sizes of the photos too. Like these could be 2 4 by 3 photos if you wanted, or even put in the 6 by 4 photo if you have a landscape orientation one. But there's all sorts of different sketches in here. I was drawn to a couple further back here. At first I was looking at these ones. I really love this because you've got a lot of pattern that can peek from behind there. And so I love this pattern. This is one of the patterns that was from the Christmas story kit that was together. So I just cut it apart, and I love this to go with the elf because it's like a sweater fabric material, and I thought that that lended itself well to the elf and his little, fabric outfit, if you will. But I didn't want this right on red, so I'm going to pull in a matte. I often like to matte my photos in white because I really think that that just always helps the photo to pop. Almost always, unless you have a really light background, and that works. And then what if I double matte it, just do a very thin matte of black as well. I really like that because it draws in the black and white from this photo. So I think I'm going to double matte. Now I could still follow this and have this as the background, have another pattern popping from behind it. Maybe no, I don't want the black and white on black and white. What if this was the background and this was the 6x8 base page? That's a lot of pattern on pattern. I don't know if I like that. And then this is a fun option too, because you've got all of these squares and you can do them in all different patterns if you want, if you've got a lot of like pattern paper scraps to use up. And these list all of the dimensions as well. So then I turned to this page and I really liked both of these. They're actually designed to be a flow across 2 pages, to be a double layout if you want them to, you know, correlate. And they're very similar. This is 4x3 photos and this is a 4x6, but you still have the same shape. You have these same backgrounds. One has the number spot and one doesn't. I don't particularly care about my December daily album, you know, being 2-page layouts. I'm just going to choose one of these that I like. Either one of them would be fine. I could have this red be the full background, and that way with this particular sketch I don't have to have the full 6x8 background. I could cut this, let's see, this says that it is 2 inches. So this is probably about 2 inches. This is probably 4 inches. So I could cut a 4-inch by 6-inch piece and then a 2-inch by 6-inch piece from this. And then that's saving a little bit of paper if I want that to be the background. And then I have a bunch of other papers in here. I just pulled a whole bunch that I thought might work. I don't know if I want a more neutral background. I don't think I want to introduce this craft color with this. I really like the black, white, and red that we have going on. I've got this as well, but I think that's going to be too much white. That could be our background, and then this could be our little strip going across. But I really like the whole background being red. I think I want to do that. So then picking out the pattern that's going to go across here, I think I like the more black in the background. So this could be my 2-inch strip going across, and then we have this little ruffle area, and we have the strip that goes across here. So that could be how I bring in some gold. Let's see, it calls for it being just a little bit above here. And then we've got some ruffles. I've got lots of options for ruffles. One option is this die cut piece that came from the Christmas Story pack. I could put that under there like that. I could even layer it up so that it's like a double ruffle. That might be cute, but if that's the case, I don't know if I want the black on black. I might rethink that. All right, it's hard for me to tell at this point. I'm once again overthinking, so I'm just going to start cutting some paper down and then we'll come back with my decision. All right, so I've landed on my pattern paper. I played around a bit, and basically what I did was, you can definitely see that I've modeled it after this original layout here, but I just shifted things down a little bit. I made this piece bigger because, or you know, I kind of just swapped these because I wanted more red to be behind here, but I liked the black being at the top. That way this black and this black are separated. And then I did end up using this white background tree paper. I didn't like it right under the photo because my wallpaper is white with black on it, and then this is white background with black on it. I wanted the reverse with a black background and white on it. Otherwise it just kind of, I don't know, it just like blended in too much. So what I'll do is cut these down. So I have this as the full background still, but if I bring it up on my Versamat, and I can see that if I cut this tree to 10.5, it will tuck under here nicely. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll build on this layout here.
So I took that background piece and I'm cutting that to 2.5 inches like I mentioned. Everything else is already trimmed down, so I'm just going to trim this one down, and I'm going to adhere it to the top of the page with my tape adhesive. By the way, that ATG gun, the adhesive that I use, is back in stock on Amazon. I've had quite a few questions asking where to get that and what it is, and it was out of stock for a long time. So I will have that linked below if you're interested. It takes a little getting used to, but it saves a lot of money in tape adhesive over the long run. So I put that second piece down on the bottom first, and then that way I can put this little sweater pattern over both of those so that it covers those little seams and I don't have any gaps or anything like that. So now I'm going to put that scallop piece down, and I wanted to make sure that those scallops were centered on my page. So I'm going to trim off a little bit from the left side as well as that large bit from the right side. And then I remembered that in my little mock-up, I had the scallops tucked under this red piece a little bit because I didn't want the whole top of the border to show. So I just lifted that red piece up a little bit and was able to line it up and get the scallops underneath. So they are adhered on the top to that red piece, and I'm just going to kind of tuck my adhesive in underneath each of those scallops. Not ideal to do it after the fact, but that's okay. It worked out, and I'm gonna get that little corner down that I missed earlier, and then I'm able to trim off the edges of my scallop, and I've got my little scallop piece in place. I did like the look of it when I had the double scallop as well, but you couldn't see the scallops as well, so I decided to go this route. So as I was laying my photo down over this little glitter strip, I realized that all of that glitter behind the photo is not going to show, so I was able to just cut two little pieces off and nobody will know that it doesn't go all the way across the page. And then I was able to use my Versamat once again to make sure that both sides are lined up on each side of the page. This Versamat is super handy. It's probably my favorite tool in my craft room. So if you are new to my channel, I use it all the time, and I've got it linked below if you're interested. I use two of them if I'm doing a 2-page 12 by 12 layout, but it works well for this as well. So now I can put my photo down, and in hindsight, I wish I had not put the adhesive so close to the edge so that I could tuck things under easier. It ended up not being a problem, but just something to keep in mind for next time, and maybe you can learn from my mistake. So now it's time for my favorite part, the embellishing. So I'm using the sketch as a guideline because it does have some little stars and indications where embellishments should go. But of course, those are just, general shapes in the sketch, so you can use whatever you want. I wanted to use that one that I showed you in yesterday's video. I created a bunch of these numbers to use in my album, and so it wasn't really standing out very well with the black background, and I wanted it on top of that black background. So I wanted to put it on something, and I tried a few different things, and I'm landing on this banner piece from the sticker sheet. I wanted to have maybe a few little banners, a few things up there. So I was auditioning some other things. I didn't like the gold glitter because it ended up being a little bit too much gold with the gold number. I pulled off this poinsettia from the sticker sheet, and I actually didn't think I was going to like it. I was just doing it just kind of for fun, and it ended up that I did like it. So I thought it was going to be a little bit too dark of a red, but it ended up being perfect, and I like that little pop of red up there. I'm going to have it hang off the top a little bit, and we'll eventually trim off the top of that and use that in my other cluster. So I'm just auditioning some other little bits and pieces that I had in my stash. These are little die cuts from the Christmas Story card kit that I had left over from making Christmas cards. I love them, and I'm kind of just tucking them here and there. I've got my top cluster adhered down already. I did that off camera, and now I'm working on my little bottom cluster here. So here's the top of that poinsettia from the top cluster, and I'm just going to tuck that under so it looks like we've got a couple little poinsettia stickers there. I've got this other sticker from the sticker sheet that says Christmas Traditions, and I thought that was perfect to go with Mr. Scrooge the Elf. And then I had this little holly and berries stamped image that was in my stash as well, also from when I was making Christmas cards. And I liked that kind of tucked under those other little die cut sprigs. And that's my little pop of green that I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to have a couple little pops of green. I'm adhering these down by just putting a little bit of liquid glue at the tip to hold it down under the photo, but I'm not putting glue under the outside, like the tips of the mistletoe or those sprigs, because I wanted them to kind of be free flowing and not be glued down to the page. So now I'm putting this other little holly and berries down. I stamped some of the holly in pine ink and some of it in evergreen ink. And so I had one of each color out, and I was just digging for another pine colored one to put under here so they both matched. But once I get to my story 2, I'm actually going to be swapping those because I used the evergreen color on the other page. So those are going to end up matching. And I've got this little tiny berry sprig that I'm kind of sticking under here. I just wanted a little bit more red, like on top of those holly leaves, because I don't have the berries showing. I just kind of tucked them under. So I wanted a little bit more pop of red, and that's going to wrap up my page. I'm just going to do my journaling. I'm using these journaling sticker strips, which I absolutely love. If you watch my 12 by 12 scrapbook videos, you know I've been loving these because you just write on them on the sticker sheet and everything, and then you can peel them off and trim them to the size strips that you want and just simply stick them to your page. So I am sure I'm going to be using these multiple times on this project throughout the month. And so I'm going to just have 3 little strips here with my journaling on this page. I thought I was going to have more to say on this day, but I decided to keep it simple. I just said that Mr. Scrooge made his debut on December 1st with a cute little note to the kids, and he likes our new coffee bar. So there's a look at day 1, and before we get into day 2, I'd like to remind you to give this video a like so YouTube knows you're enjoying it.
All right, let's start with day 2. The nice thing about being a little behind is that you know you have an idea of what will go on the back. So I have these 2 3x4 photos that are going to go on the back, so I knew that that would work with a 4x6 pocket page because that's what I was thinking for this one. And so that is going to go in this little page that's got the 2 4x6 pockets. And then on the back, even though these are 3x4, I can put them, you know, like cut a piece of paper or use a pocket card that's 4x6 and then just simply mount them on there. Might do something like that, journaling on one and then something decorative on the other. So keep it super simple. This one's going to be super simple. I've already taken a couple of the pieces of paper that I used in the other spread. So this is my day 1 and it's going to go on this side, and then this side will be day 2. Like I mentioned, I don't really care if it's like a cohesive 2-page spread, but one thing I did do was just brought a couple of these papers over, and then also I had these stamped in pine ink and I swapped them out for some holly that was stamped in evergreen because that's what's in this pocket card that I found in my stash that I wanted to use, and I just thought it would look better if the colors matched. So I did that, and then I pulled out some other little embellishments that I thought I might use. So I've already mounted this little sweater pattern on here, and then I'm going to put this little glitter piece kind of over that seam to cover the transition. So we'll just glue it and line it up with the edge of that sweater piece. So what I did was I sort of started with a sketch. So in the back of that sketchbook, there are some 4x6 pocket page sketches as well as 3x4 a little bit further back. And so this one called for the 6x4 photo on the bottom. I wanted mine on the top, so I just simply swapped those. And then it also called for a 3x4 photo and some journaling. I don't have another photo that I want to use, so I just omitted that and then basically like slid these pieces over. I cut this one a little bit bigger, this one's cut the same, and then I have my little box for journaling. So it started, my idea spurred from the sketch, but I didn't follow it exactly. So these sketches are super adaptable. Don't be afraid to change them. So again, super simple. I'm just going to glue my journaling box down, do some journaling, and add a few little embellishments here.
I started with this Oh What Fun little paperboard embellishment, and I really liked it, but it wasn't standing out. So I found one of the pocket cards that goes with Christmas Story that had some blank space, and that worked perfectly. And then there was this little bow in the embellishment pack that looked cute on the top. So I decided to do that. I just cut out that piece from the pocket card. I can still use the small sentiment on the front of that. The back I can't use anymore. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this and adhere that pattern on there. It's hard to see the pattern. There's a really skinny diagonal print on it, like diagonal stripes, that you'll be able to see in the close-ups here at the end. So I'm just going to work on adding a few little embellishments here and there. And while I do that, I have some exciting news to share with you. If you're enjoying this video, you're going to love the Creative Design Team's membership group. It's open right now, which is not always the case. We get even more detailed than we do here on YouTube. We have 2 videos a week, and our goal is to give you creative ideas to stretch your supplies, get your mojo flowing, and take your skills to the next level. So be sure to check out the link in the description box below. You can hit see more in the box under this video to see all of the information about this video and all of the links that I've mentioned here. Registration is only open until December 16th, and then our doors will be closed. All right, so I've added some details to this page. I wanted to add the number right onto the photo because I had some open space there in the bottom, and I brought in that other page that I did just because I wanted to be cognizant of them being next to each other in my album and make sure that the numbers look good where they are placed. I added a few of the foil stars from the sticker sheet, and then that is going to finish off that page. So here's a close-up look at both of the pages that I put together today. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel for more scrapbooking ideas. Be sure to check out the rest of the Creative Design Team's Days of December videos. I've got the playlist here on the left, and then if you'd like to see my video from yesterday with my organization, it's here on the right. Have a great day.